Hey, welcome back. Learning to love yourself can be a lifelong journey and experience.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have a support system by your side. And joining us now is transformation coach Leinani to talk to us about the importance of self-love and appreciation. Hello.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, it is a very, very powerful story of your own. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a transformation coach.
Yeah, so it started about 8 years ago. I started with my own weight loss and fitness journey, and that part of my journey really catapulted me into really wanting to help myself and other women become more confident, and it went deeper than weight loss. So I lost 100 pounds, which was incredible. Big deal, but there was more than that needed to be worked on, and I think that's really kind of what pushed me out of just weight loss and into like more whole woman or whole person coaching.
Like the emotional transformation.
Yes, mindset, yeah.
That's awesome. I know you're all about self-care and prioritizing self-care. What would you say? People are busy out there. You know, a lot of moms don't have a lot of free time, especially, and just people in general. What are some easy ways people can kind of add a little more self-care into their routine?
Yeah, I think just taking a minute in the morning, first thing, before your feet hit the floor, before all the kids need you, you know, whatever, everyone else needs you, take a minute for yourself. And for moms especially, it's just taking a few minutes throughout the day. I mean, there were times where I was home with my kids and I would take 10 or 15 minutes just to like breathe and have a minute for myself. I think you know, we can kind of discount how far those few minutes can go for ourselves. Taking a minute is really huge. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And in what way would you say, like movement or just meditation?
Yeah, I think, you know, working out is obviously huge. Wherever you can fit that in during the day. I'm a huge fan of working out at home for that reason, because we don't always have time to go spend an hour at the gym. Breath work, meditation, you could do that anywhere at your desk, you know, at home.
That's lovely. Now, you did publish a journal. It is called Rise and Shine Morning Journal. Tell us about it and the benefits you see in journaling.
Yeah, so that actually kind of, the reason I came up with this idea for this journal was because I needed a minute for myself in the morning. And I didn't want it to be this big, long morning routine because I just didn't have time for it. I had a little one at home. And so the idea is to just, you know, see the power in 20 to 30 minutes for yourself in the morning, tracking your day, kind of brain dumping what needs to, you know, happen for the day, and then take a minute and check in with yourself. You know, there's questions in there. I have some guided prompts, and then free journaling is always amazing as well. But I think the more we can, you know, stay in touch with ourselves and get to know ourselves, you know, in various topics, but especially with self-improvement and things like that, that's really huge in, you know, feeling better and feeling more confident in our lives.
That's awesome. Because, you know, sometimes when I think of journaling, I'll just vent a little bit, just to like let it out and then like release it. But having a guided prompt seems really helpful, because then you can kind of think about things in a different way or from a different lens.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed too, the days that I didn't do it, I didn't have a minute for myself, you can start to see the difference in the days that you do, right? You're just a little more optimistic, you have a little more confidence, you feel a little more together. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about self-love a little bit, because I feel like this is such a buzzword, but what do you think that actually means, and how do you kind of guide people on their self-love journey?
Yeah, so I think self-love is really, one, prioritizing yourself, getting to know yourself, and taking the time to really give yourself what you need on all levels. And so that's not always, you know, I always say self-love isn't just a body thing. Of course, we should love our bodies, and I talk about that a lot as well. But it's about, you know, holding yourself accountable, giving yourself what you need, and being, it's like, if I always compare it to if my daughter was sitting in front of me and what would I say to her? How would I treat her? Like, give that same, you know, love and care to myself, and accountability sometimes, right? So, yeah.
You know, I often think of accountability almost like parenting yourself as a grown person, right? Because when you love somebody as you should love yourself, you're not gonna make decisions that are gonna hurt that person,
right? You want what's best for them, yeah.
Yeah, so one thing that I find really interesting, and I think really positive, especially when you're looking to make some major transformation, even if it's just physical, you know, is that you can coexist with self-love and self-improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, talk to me more about that.
Yeah, so I think, you know, when I really leaned into that on my journey, I had lost 100 pounds, and my body has changed. I've had a couple babies, couple C-sections, so your body changes, and I felt like, you know, I really needed to learn to love myself along the way. I truly don't think you can hate yourself on the way to self-love. It's like you want to change yourself from a place of love. I think we're enough as we are, we're incredible, but it's never wrong to want more for yourself or to want to improve yourself, right? So it's kind of balancing those two things. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think just like with our kids, we want what's best for them. We want them to grow and improve and be the best they can be, right? So similar for ourselves.
That definitely resonates.
Yeah.
For people who might be unsure, like, where do I start? If I love the idea, I love how this sounds, but what do I actually do? What would you say they should do first?
I would say get a routine down where you are. If showing up for yourself is new, start there. Get in the habit of showing up for yourself and really getting to know yourself in a better way. I think a lot of us, especially women and moms, we're not used to putting ourselves first. We're not used to prioritizing ourselves because we have a lot of people to serve and our cup is always pouring, right? So it's like get in the habit of finding little ways that you can show up for yourself and get to know yourself a little better.
You can never pour from an empty cup. That's what I always tell myself.
It's so true.
Lauren, thank you so much for visiting with us. This has been fantastic. And of course, we have more information on how you can get in touch with Lauren, more information on her journal on our website, fox13seattle.com/Studio 13 Live. Thanks again.
Thank you.